513 games. So I thought I'll show you one of the games. I was going to show you my 500th game of lockdown chess, but I've missed it. Anyway, I was hoping to get myself up to Class A, but that is quite a high rating. 1745 is pretty darned high. I have been Class A in the past anyway. It just depends how much chess I'm playing, how much I play. So let's have a look at this game. Checkmate. Hopefully you didn't see the checkmate there. And I'm playing as black, and we've got a really classic opening, the king pawn opening. But because I'm playing against a Class A player, so he's higher rated than me, so there's a lot of points on the line here for me. I can win like 8 points of rating, and he can lose 8 points of rating, so I expect him to be quite aggressive. But this isn't always the case. But when you're playing a form of blitz chess, which this is, sort of 30 seconds per move, then yeah, it's not bad to play defensively. So I go with this, which I think is the French defense, because I haven't played chess. I have bouts of chess. I have years where I play a lot of chess, and then I have a year where I don't play any chess. So I think this is the French defense. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm controlling the black squares here. And he pushes the pawn. He reveals to me that he is indeed going to be very hyper aggressive with this opening. So let's attack it. Well, first we get the bishop out, because that gives me, that gets me closer to castling. Because really, when he's going to play an aggressive opening, then I need to be thinking about castling. So now I attack the pawns. And the only way he can chase this knight away, he can either move this, waste 2 moves moving this pawn and really weakening his pawn structure, or he can try and trade it like this, or he can do this, and if he does that, that's a bit silly, because then he loses this pawn here. But what he's going to hope for is he's going to hope to weaken somehow the f7 pawn that guards my king on the left hand flank, and somehow fork and win that knight back. There are various sort of combinations where you can do that people learn, but I don't think he's learned one properly, because he made a lot of errors here. Or maybe he's not used to playing against the French defence. I think also he was expecting something like this, because like I say, you don't really want to move your f7 pawn. You don't really want to be doing that, because it's very difficult to protect that line, that white diagonal for the king. So I think he was expecting this, check, this, and then I have to recapture with the king, because once again, people are not used to playing the French defence. Against the French defence, they're not used to realising that there's a bishop there sitting there that can recapture. And then I still haven't lost my right to castle. So after he does whatever he does, he can start to get ready for that diagonal, but he you know, it doesn't matter so much now. Could just do that. He can do that. He can do that.
Check. Kinside castling. Kinside castling.
And I'm all right. I'm okay then. So.
Kinside castling.
Yeah, I think that's what he was kind of hoping for. But I didn't. I recaptured with the pawn creating that great massive weakness. Might have been a mistake in hindsight.
Check.
Because now he leaps on. This is a queen fork, as you can see. The queen is forking both the knight and the king, and the idea is that he now wins that knight. So he gave me a free pawn so that he could win the knight. But that's the very knight, and you often find this with queen forks, is that the very knight that is being forked is the one that can then block the attack. So there, it's blocked. And he makes a very good move, his next move, bringing out this bishop. And this is actually catastrophic for me, because, well, the only good move I've got is this. I know it looks odd, that move, but then after this...
Check.
That's not too bad. He doesn't really have any more attacks. I suppose he could start, you know, like doing stupid stuff like that, or actually that, and I'm okay. Things aren't too bad for me there. And I can even walk the king over to the queen side if I have to.
Check.
But anyway, I made the wrong move. That's why the knight has to go to that square there, because that's the combination you end up with. What I did was this. I tried to threaten his queen and scare her away. Why is this a bad move? Because
Check.
after this... sorry, no,
Check.
yes, that's right.
Check.
And now we look at the material, and he's got 2 knights, a bishop, and 2 rooks, and I've got 2 bishops, a knight, and 1 rook. So that's
Check.
why that's a really bad
Check.
idea. That's why that was the wrong move. But it did actually scare her away. And I think the reason it scared her away is because there are various combinations you can use when they use this white diagonal attack. Whereby you can end up with having well, that knight that you see the blue square around, often he would be on that square automatically in many openings. He'd already be on that square, you see. And let's just put the queen somewhere random for a minute. And then what you would do is you'd have the rook there. And sometimes the queen has eaten that pawn in front of the rook. And those kind of openings can trap the queen. Often the only square she can end up safely on is the h6 square, and they don't like that, because then you have things like this where you can I don't know, you can do things like this. So it's like a double check on the queen, and then she tries to save this pawn up here with something like this. And it just, you're beating him back. But anyway, we didn't go that route. But that's what he was in his mind. I did this check on his queen, and she ran. So that kind of also told me that he was probably not playing his best chess. So I thought, well,
Kinside castling.
now things are looking very, very good for me because of that error that he made. He didn't push. But he pushes now. He takes it now. But it's a little bit too little, too late, really. I don't mind having that hole down there, because that file, he's not opened it for his own pieces yet. So it's all right. He has to now start advancing that pawn or something. As you can see, I've got a big attack underway now. And again, why is he moving with one piece twice? What is the idea here? Just trying to attack that pawn, but I mean, why? What's the point? This attacks his queen and defends that pawn at the same time. Queen comes here, just defend it with the pawn. And he's kind of all out of ideas again now. The next thing I'd expect from a player like this is to attack the knight, try and shift it like that. But he takes it, he trades it off, and bang. And now we're going to get a very unusual move. He retreats from that little attack there, but we're going to get a very unusual move here, which is the rook fork.
Check.
Check. And the rook and the knight falls. And I don't think he was expecting that. Ironic poetic justice there, because that was, I think, the very square that my knight was on, wasn't it? Or perhaps it was one square higher. No, I think that was where my knight was, where the knight that he was hoping to win with his queen fork. So that was a bit of poetic justice there. Now, I feel that my position's very good at this point. A few things could be improved slightly. I could get my bishop, say, onto the f6 square. That would be nice. But, I think that's pretty good. He's blocked in his own rook there. And all he's got is a knight sitting up there. And knights are not very good long-range weapons, whereas bishops are very good long-range weapons. So let's just see what happens next. He tries to get this knight. He tries to walk it over. Now, there's a rule in chess. When someone brings out the knight, you just bring out the pawn bang opposite, and that will stop that knight advancing. It can only advance by 1 rank now, and my rook is covering one side of it, so the only place it could ever advance to now would be over there. And that's pretty weak. So he's kind of all out of options with that. The next best choice would probably be there. And again, it's not that good. So he can't. It's perhaps more to do with releasing his other rook. This move. And now we get this pawn fork. Yeah, I did think about. Yeah, I thought about doing this, but then I thought, no, I'm not gonna. I don't think I want to leave my queen that wide open. So let's just do it like this, because it keeps the pressure on his queen. My rook is now guarded by that pawn where it wasn't actually guarded by anything before, and it's pinned things nicely. So with that move, I think I pretty much. I mean, he wasn't in good shape at this point. I should have really already been thinking about moving my light-coloured bishop out. This bishop, I should have been thinking about moving this out at this stage already, because as you can see, he's going to have an inescapable checks in a minute. So yeah, his queen comes over here because he wants to. I don't know what he wants to do, to be honest. The queen can't do anything of substance there without lining itself up with his king, and that's never a good idea, but we shall see. So now I release this white bishop, which is going to be able to give me a check on his king, and there's not a lot he can do about this threat, actually. I missed this. I missed this
Check.
game-winning move here. I completely missed that. I saw it as soon as I'd missed it, but I missed it at the time. So instead I just get this white bishop out because I could see that there was an inescapable mate here, and especially after this move, it's inescapable.
Check. Check.
Just bishops, nothing but bishops, and the only way he can block it is with this.
Checkmate.
So a really interesting little game, a really nice little game, and that got me up to the mid 1700s in rating. Little blitz game. Errors on both sides, but the errors served me a little better than they served my enemy, and quite often in chess that's all it needs to win